This is Tom Salemi. We're here at the inaugural Aesthetics Innovation Summit. I'm pleased to be joined by Camille Samuels, partner at Venrock. Camille, hello.
Hello.
It's great to see you again.
Long time no see.
It has been. So we're trying to sort of define aesthetics today. We've had a couple of great conversations on stage, a few interviews where we talked about aesthetics being healthier because it impacts how people feel about themselves or feel about their appearance and therefore how they feel about themselves. But another conversation where larger corporate players don't necessarily want to treat it like a pharma business. They want it to be aesthetics. They want it to be its own entity. How do you, as a venture capitalist who invests in healthcare, view aesthetics? Where does it fit into your portfolio?
So as a VC, I invest in therapeutics, consumer medicine, and in medical devices. And aesthetics can touch all three, actually. And so the really simpleton way of thinking about it is how it's regulated. Mm-hmm. So the therapeutics are typically regulated as an RX. The diagnostics, or the devices and diagnostics are regulated as a device. And the consumer medicine products are often supplements or medical foods or OTC, mm-hmm. right? But that's a silly way to think about it. I think about it instead in terms of the consumer experience. So the best example of that is aesthetic fillers are regulated as a device, but I think people think of them hand in hand with Botox, which is regulated as a drug. So the bottom line is I think of it more in terms of patient pay and the consumer, how the consumer is going to experience the product, and anything that is an appearance builder. Mm-hmm. So even a weight loss device is an aesthetic device in my mind. Yep,
that's a fair point. And we're seeing a lot of innovative technologies. We've had some presenting on stage here today, emerging in the aesthetic space. What is it that's allowing for these technologies to sort of arrive today? Clearly they've been in the works for the last couple of years, but we're seeing a lot of innovative approaches emerging now.
So one of the things I think about is that when both Botox and Latisse were products that were discovered by mistake, mm-hmm. right? So we've heard a lot about the Carruthers up in Canada, a husband-wife crew who noticed that glabellular lines were getting better when they were treating strabismus. That was a happenstantial discovery that Botox had an aesthetic outcome. Similarly, Latisse was a happenstantial discovery that if you put prostaglandins in the eyes of people with glaucoma, they got these long, lush eyelashes. So actually, when we founded Kythera, the big idea was, wow, back in those days, wow, no one's actually been doing anything intentionally innovative mm-hmm. in aesthetics, and yet you can make a big product like Botox. What if we actually brought intentional R&D to this space? Maybe something really important can happen. And that I feel like that's what we're seeing now is there are actually scientists and inventors applying good American innovation or worldwide innovation to a space that was ignored for mm-hmm. years.
Great point. And we're seeing, as it was brought up by Sandy Peterson, digital technology, microbiome, lots of different applications are being brought into aesthetics. How many proposals do you see as a VC at one of the better firms out there? How many aesthetics deals come your way?
So I'm probably right now looking at 5 opportunities mm-hmm. that are in this sort of broader definition of aesthetics, a handful in pure play aesthetics, a couple in those areas of dermatology that blend between med derm and aesthetics, like hyperhidrosis or rosacea or acne. They live sort of in between. And then also female sexual health. Mm-hmm. So in this broader definition that AIS is defining aesthetics to be, I'm looking at a half dozen opportunities. Having said that, that's in a background of, we probably see in healthcare 1,000 opportunities a year. Wow. So yes, aesthetics is important, but it's tiny compared to the sort of onslaught of opportunities we're getting in oncology in particular. Mm-hmm. But oncology, CNS, orphan disease, that's where there's a huge volume of opportunity.
Interesting. And final question, what is the strategic landscape like, the opportunities for an exit from an aesthetics company for a VC? How do you view that?
They're not great. There aren't that many acquirers. And so when I think about building a company in aesthetics going forward, number one, I ain't going to do plus one innovation. I'm going to be doing stuff that's really important, trying to address unmet needs. So hair growth and cellulite would be areas that I'm interested in, and so on. And number two, I'd look to build a standalone company. And I do that in every investment area, but in this one in particular, you can't count on M&A. And to the extent that there are acquirers, they come late. They come after you already have marketing traction. Like when we sold Zeltique, yes, it was a $2.5 billion exit, but it had, Mark Foley had gotten a lot of sales around the cool sculpting before the exit happened. Or with Kythera, it was post-regulatory approval, right? So this space, you don't have that post 10-patient proof of concept study acquisition. You got to be in it for the long haul as an investor. And the good news is, at a place like Venrock, I'm supported to make long haul investments.
Excellent. Well, we're glad to have you here today at the inaugural AIS. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for including me.